Okay, apparently there's some kind of a Seahawks event going on here. I'm at the landing, which is probably where you can tell from all the shops around me. There's some sort of a. Oh, yeah, there's a sign over there. There's some sort of a Seahawks event here. And not being a Seahawks fan, yes, I know I'm in Seattle. Not being a Seahawks fan, I wouldn't really know. I'm not really a Seahawks sports fan. That's just not my. Nothing against the Seahawks or any team. It's just they're not really like I'm a Vegas Golden Knights fan, so Seattle Kraken, Seattle who, and everyone who asks me or kind of counteracts says you should go for the Kraken or you should root for the Kraken or. And I was looking at it and says, now remind me which one of us has been in the Stanley Cup 3 times and won it once? That would be my team. That would be Vegas. Now, not to say that, because they had I believe they now hired Ryan Craig, I think his name is, and they had a coach that I'm going to feel like an idiot because his name is escaping me right now, but you can see all the pro shop there. You can see this is the landing in Renton. You can see all this. Like, I don't get it. And like I said, that's because I'm not a Seahawks fan, so that's what, I mean, I get the devotion to your team. Yes, I understand that. But, that's not me. That's not something that I would be. Wait a minute, do I have to go that way to get to where I want to get to? Probably. So I saw, as I mentioned before previously, I saw Spielberg's Disclosure Day, his most recent. And my producer and I agree on this. We talk about this a lot. I like that it deals with Are We Alone? And honestly, between the two of us, no, I don't think we are. I think out there, in that vast universe out there, universe that's as big as it is, how could we be? Between Earth and the Moon, 30 Earths could fit between Earth and the Moon. And Earth is the largest inner solar. Earth is the largest inner planet. 30 Earths could fit between Earth and the Moon. And the Moon is the closest solar object to the Earth in the universe. And 30 Earths could fit between it and the Moon. So, yes, it's pretty vast. So how do you assume? How? And I agree with what she said. How could we be alone? Why? It makes no. I dropped the mic, as I usually do. It makes no logical sense that we could be. It doesn't make sense, and the whole principle behind Spielberg's Disclosure Day was that it treated it with differently. There was maybe there was villains, but the aliens weren't the villains. The humans were. And it goes all the way back to Roswell in 1947, that they have visited our planet, and all this has existed since 1947. And why haven't we heard anything about it? And how come we don't know? It's because it's all been a government cover-up for that long. And that makes perfect sense. If something came to you as a person, if something came to this planet and we were worried that how people would react or that how it would affect the planet, what would we do? How would we react? So would we cover it up? Probably. that makes sense. That humanity would react the way it did and covered it up. So, yeah, I kind of believe the humans would be the villains. Now, the movie kind of went to say that once we kind of understood the way things were and the way things became, we kind of got soft. We kind of we kind of started understanding that they weren't trying to be different beings. They were trying to just visit different places, and they found a planet that had life, and they wanted to make contact with this species on this planet they found that had life, and these species reacted in a way that they were defending themselves, which is you can't blame humanity for reacting for a way to defend itself from something it didn't understand. Now, this is a different race, and they couldn't communicate. As many places on this earth can't communicate. Different languages, different countries have different languages. They had their different species, so they couldn't communicate. But they tried to communicate or in a way that all races get: mathematics, math. Now, if you have a learning disability like mine, you're kind of screwed. But I hate math, always have. So it kind of becomes, how would you... Sorry, I have to move my glasses so I can see the time. I just had to tip my glasses down because it's sunny out here, and my glass is shaded, so I can't see the screen. So I kind of had to tip my glasses down just so I could see what time it's at. So look at all these people going. This is just interesting while I'm showing you this. They're taking the tents down there. The Seahawks training camp, that's what this is, must have ended. So that's probably why they're taking all that down. But, so, this other race communicated with the way it knew how, or the only way it thought it might be able to. Math. And there was someone who understood them. A human Daniel, like me. His name was Daniel, like me. Yay! And they began to communicate with him. Now, it wasn't because I don't think that he could understand their languages. He just could understand the language that they were speaking in. And they were using math, and he can understand math. So he could understand that. And so I think that's what helped him understand them. Now, do I think the way, if a different life was a different species was found in the universe, which I think probably exists out there somewhere, probably exists, would the villains, the problems would probably be humans, as I would understand that most other species would be trying to protect themselves, what they knew. So you can't blame humanity for that, trying to protect themselves, but yes, humanity would be the villains. Now, the way the movie projects it is that they took these other extraterrestrial beings who came to their planet, and they captured them, and they covered them up, and I guess mistreated them. Now, that makes humanity the problem. That makes humanity the villains. Like I just said, you can't blame people for trying to protect themselves and wanting to protect themselves. You can't blame them for that. But you can blame them for mistreating mistreating another species. You can blame them for that. So I get that. So that's the problem. Now, would we do that? Probably. But I think it's only out of an instinct to try and protect ourselves against something we don't know. And I think the good thing about the movie is that the movie projected them, the movie portrayed them. That's the word I was looking for. Portrayed. The movie portrayed them as another species trying to understand and trying to meet and understand this new species it just discovered, and trying to figure it out. And they're and the ways they did, they couldn't communicate. They didn't. There was no way for them to communicate with this other species. There was no way for them to communicate. So I guess they came to math, figuring out the only thing that the universe had in common throughout was math. And this new species that they had just discovered was looking outward towards the rest of the galaxy, the universe, and had begun to understand math as a way to try and explore. Sorry, you're hearing noise behind me because there's this woman right here who's directly in front of me, and she's talking on her phone, so that's what you're hearing behind me. It's her voice. So, do I think... Now, here's a lot of things that my producer and I have discovered, and that's true about this planet. A lot of it are interesting things, is that we are not breathing an oxygen-rich atmosphere. Currently, right now, we are breathing a nitrogen-rich atmosphere. Earth's atmosphere is 78.8% nitrogen and 20% oxygen. So, so now I've got to get up. So, what you are breathing and what is coming into your lungs is 78% nitrogen and 20% oxygen, which there's enough oxygen that you're getting that's making that bearable. Here's the thing that she has said, and I understand why she said it. Could we breathe the air on Mars? Well, if you think about it, technically yes. Because sorry, as is the case every time I record something, I always feel a burp come up, and it always happens when I have the microphone near my mouth. So that always occurs. So what is consistent? So the Martian atmosphere, I think, is 96 or 98. Is 96, here's the Regal Cinemas, is 96 and Five Guys, which is 96% CO2. The makeup of the gas CO2 is carbon. It's called carbon dioxide. Dioxide. That means there's two elements of something, in this case oxygen. So there's two elements of oxygen. And 96% of it, there's two elements of oxygen in the Martian atmosphere. And 96% of CO2. So there's two elements of oxygen and one element of carbon dioxide. There's one element of carbon and two of oxygen. And we can breathe oxygen. There's more of carbon. Yeah, there's more of carbon. But in one single compound of CO2, there's more oxygen than there is carbon. There's two elements of oxygen. in Earth's atmosphere, oxygen is not the dominant element. Not the dominant element. In Martian atmosphere, oxygen is not the dominant element. Carbon in the form of dioxide, but yes, carbon is. So Mars and Earth are arguably in the same situation. It's just the element that there's more of is the element that's harder for people to breathe. But like she has said, we're not breathing pure oxygen right now. On Mars, we wouldn't be breathing pure oxygen. We're in the same boat. It's just what we are breathing more of. That's the issue. Yeah, so I see what she's saying. So sorry, I had to move the microphone from my mouth again. So to say what I've repeatedly said, what she and I agree with, do extraterrestrials exist? I only say probably. Sorry, it's windy. I only say probably because we don't have proof that, at least that we know of, that the common populace knows of. Yeah, probably. Most likely it does. Extraterrestrials exist. Now, to those others, we are the extraterrestrials. Just kind of think about that. And should we be looking to other planets in the solar system, even the solar system or the universe, to try and see, can life exist? Can life as we know it? Maybe not. As we know it. But we shouldn't be trying to make another life, another world, drop the mic again. We shouldn't be trying to make another world more livable to us. Because our life can only exist on Earth. That's what she keeps saying. It can only exist on Earth. And that's the weird thing. I have a friend, someone I know has an oxygenator, where they have those tubes that go into their nose and they need to breathe compressed oxygen. Well, if they're going to breathe it, it has to be compressed with something else. Because you can't breathe pure oxygen. People who don't have oxygen or air compressors are not breathing pure oxygen. People who don't have compressors, people who walk around daily life every day breathing normal air in, breathing normal air that's around us me right now and everyone else, we're not breathing pure oxygen. We're mostly breathing nitrogen, 78.8%. 20% 20% oxygen. So every time you take a breath through your nose and your mouth, you're breathing primarily nitrogen. Now, and what she has said, and she goes, how do we, like, do we even know? Like what I just said a minute ago about the air compressors. I hope the oxygen compressors. I hope they're not compressing pure oxygen, because that person wouldn't be able to breathe. It wouldn't be doing them very much good. Just breathing pure oxygen. Yes, what you breathe every day is oxygen. But yes, what you breathe every day is also nitrogen. There's also much, much, much more nitrogen than there is oxygen. And if walking around every day, to every one of us, breathing like I'm breathing in right now, the nitrogen isn't dangerous to us because of what it's mixed with. Nitrogen isn't dangerous to us as we're walking around breathing. Then what do we have to do on a planet with when it's mixed with other elements, like it is here, like it is on Mars, mixed with carbon. Here, mixed with nitrogen. So, and can you separate the carbon from the oxygen? I don't exactly remember this 100%, but yes, you probably can. Which means we'd have to have some way to vent the carbon and then introduce another element into the Martian atmosphere that can mix, that can blend with oxygen, like nitrogen, like it does here. Now, we'd have to, and we know our lungs can take nitrogen. It does every day. So, that's interesting, just to think about what the others would come in contact with. It's just very intriguing, very interesting. And I know there's a lot more you can get into and a lot more you can touch on and a lot farther we could all go. But thank you all so much for watching. And as I'm sitting out here at the landing and the Seahawks event that was just ending over there. But thank you all so much for watching. Hit that thumbs up button.